7:43, we're back. It has been a while since we've had Dr. John Gray here on the BT Couch. Welcome back, sir.
Such a pleasure. Thank you. It's good to see you. You're married.
Good to see you, too. You're married almost 2 years in. Last time you came on, single, you were giving me relationship advice. Beyond Mars and Venus is the latest book, and today we knew we were bringing you on, so we had a chat in the newsroom, and we thought, what's relevant? What do I hear with couples? It's how to keep that sizzle alive in the relationship, and when it comes to the physicality, why is it that physicality just starts to fizzle out? What happens?
Wow, that is such a great question, because actually today it's more relevant than ever before. That's why it's people's biggest complaint, is because the sizzle, the attraction, is something that brings women back to the female hormone production. Because when women are busy working in a traditional male job, it stimulates traditional male hormones, and our bodies haven't woken up. A man's body needs at least 10 to 20 times more testosterone to feel sizzle for his partner. A woman's body needs about 10 to 20 times, particularly 20 times more estrogen for her to feel that attraction, for her to be able to relax. So many women, they're in the workplace and they can't turn off their brain when they come home, so they're busy worrying and acting and so forth. And this all has to do with the stimulation of hormones at work. How do you shift gears to stimulating estrogen and progesterone at different times of the month to understand her cycle, her hormones, and what behaviors a man can do for her to stimulate that? And one of the key ones is planning dates, for example. Communication is a huge one. Affection is a huge one.
Okay, so let's break that down, because the reality is now there's a lot of dual income couples, the roles, the stresses that exist. How do you keep the mystery alive? Because when you start dating someone, everything's new, it's unfamiliar, and there's that unpredictability. How do you maintain that element when there's so much responsibility for both partners?
So that newness that we're talking about, you said the mystery, it's like a challenge, it's a newness. Newness stimulates dopamine, and that's the sizzle brain chemical, is dopamine. That goes away after 2 or 3 years because you're no longer new. It's familiar, it's comfortable, but you can still stimulate that dopamine through these new relationship skills. If you plan a date a week in advance, it's a date because it's on the calendar a week in advance. If it's tomorrow, if it's tonight, like, honey, what do you want to do? No dopamine gets produced. For women, preparation for doing something in the future actually stimulates a lot of dopamine. And if a woman is stimulating estrogen, that stimulates dopamine in the man's brain. So it's all about men, in a sense, doing things to help women find their femininity that will wake up the man's sizzle. So that's always women turn men on. Well,
we need to start paying attention. Planning, obviously a big key. Now, think about anybody that works on a night shift, a morning shift, and the most common excuse you can hear is, I'm too tired. Yeah. How important is sleep really in this equation when it comes to being physical?
Well, it's being exhausted and tired that interferes with. Being exhausted and tired means that your stress hormone has exhausted your adrenal. You need to rebuild. And that's where your hormones come into play. When you're tired, your body's saying, go to sleep to rebuild the hormones. When you're not tired, it means you have the right hormonal balance so that you can start stimulating those hormones to create the sizzle. It still takes romance, it takes good communication, it takes planning, occasional little romantic dates where a woman doesn't feel that she's having to do everything, because women sort of own everything, They go, who's going to clean the dishes, and where'd the food come from, and what about the house and the spiders? Their brain is really busy, much more busy than men's, and so we want to help her to relax by taking her on dates, taking her places, and it doesn't have to be expensive, and just planning ahead is a key thing. The other thing is communication, particularly men listening to women. When a woman feels heard, her estrogen goes up. If a man does more of the talking, his testosterone goes down. So men have to remember, and one of the other takeaways from my book is one of the key things women need today is to feel safe to be themselves.
To feel loved.
To feel loved and express themselves. And the problem is that when women are upset, often men get upset back and they get angry. When men get angry, the key to this is learning how to not talk at that time, but to go away and do something to rebuild their testosterone. Because when men are angry, their testosterone is going down and their estrogen is going up. And if you're angry and you talk, your estrogen goes even higher, and that escalates a woman's tension in the relationship. So we want to de-escalate the arguing, which over time will also kill the passion.
Well, it's interesting, paying attention to hormones, communication, and controlling your reaction. And I know a lot of tips you delve into. Beyond Mars and Venus is the book. And this conversation continues here in the city. If you want to delve into what what is normal? And I know that's got to be a big one when people ask you on stage. An Evening with John Cray is coming your way this Saturday night, Fairmont Hotel, Vancouver. There's the website for tickets and information. Always good to see you, John.
It's great to see you. Great to see you.
Great advice. I got some tips of how to take care of my wife.
That sounds good.
Always learning from this man right here.